decided to do a live stream. Originally, I was going to just do a YouTube presentation and do a video and the usual like I normally would do. Until I came to the realization that today is Indigenous Day. Well, formerly it used to be Columbus Day, but he got fired, so he doesn't have that job anymore. And now it's Indigenous Day, and so I realized that maybe I should do something special because of this Indigenous Day. What happened on Indigenous Day? People were claiming that they discovered America or indirectly discovered Native people along with America. And this claim has been going on, or this scam's been going on since 1492, when we had some lost Italian lost on our beach who thought he was in India, which accidental discovery doesn't count. It should be thrown out because Columbus, all the way to the day he died, still thought he was in India.
That's funny.
And to prove it, we're still Indians 500 years later. You guys, I'm not from Punjab. I'm not even close to Afghanistan or Pakistan. I'm not even close to Tibet. Below Tibet is called India. Those people used to be called Hindustan. But then some colonial people took it over and called it the India Tea Trading Company, a British trading company at that. And what do? They kick out the colonialists and they keep the colonial name, India. They should have went back to Hindustan. But hey, that's a lesson for you, real Indians in Punjab. Right now, indigenous from North America is going to disprove everything from 1492. And that's why I wanted to do a live stream, because I felt this was just too important to just put as a presentation in an hour or two. That for the lucky people that are here right now, that just logged in, accidentally, intentionally, or been paying attention to us all along, you're in the right place at the right time. Because this is the one presentation I'm going to do that's going to show and tie a lot of things in together that'll make sense once I'm done with it. But first, I had to, I guess ran a little bit because Indigenous Day, it's the Little Red Schoolhouse Day.
Oh, I was going to say Indigenous Peoples Day is actually Monday, which is tomorrow. It's Sunday right now.
It's Indian time. It don't matter. Every day's Indian Day.
Okay. So
you're going to... 365 days a week, a year,
right.
We're just lucky that they recognize us, No, we're invisible people, really, by America's standards.
So the point of all that is you are going to show that we discovered the other side of the world. Is that one of the points you're trying to
in
put
60
out there?
BC, there are Roman records, there are German records, and there are actually living people where people that came off of a drifting log or canoe were found in Germany and the Baltic Sea, of all places where the North Sea is the roughest. And in 60 BC, these native people that were Inuit went and discovered Germany in 60 BC. It's on record. The Romans are good at record keeping, and they have it in their records because they were the first ones who were wondering. They even sent those people to their court to see who they were. They had mistakenly thought, just like Columbus, they were from India, and they came all the way around somehow, even though they were really Inuit. But the main thing I'm trying to say is that we never got acknowledged for discovering Europe in 60 BC. That's not 1492. That's, 60 BC, before Christ, before Columbus. But anyway, that's my Indigenous Day rant. Today, I'm going to show you my Azores Islands map. And you're going to wonder, why is it showing the Azores? We've seen this before. Well, and I need to show, to connect the dots. If you go down from the Azores, you see Tangier, Morocco, right there. Tangier, Morocco, there's a place called the Atlas Mountains, which over where the Atlas Mountain range is at was where the mouth of the Mediterranean is at 35 degrees latitude, which is Tangier, Morocco. See, 35.75. what is Atlantis and what were they called? The people in the Atlas Mountains were called Atlanteans. And what was the name of the empire? Or I should say their toll booth, because you had to pay to get into the Mediterranean and you had to pay to get out of the Mediterranean. That's how they got rich. Those people that were living in the Atlas Mountains were called Atlanteans, and their place was called Atlantis. Sound familiar? So now that we just told how, just explained how Atlantis is connected here to Tangier and the Atlas Mountains, you follow the Atlas Mountains down 3250, Tripoli, Libya, 2925, Memphis, Egypt, 260, the Red Sea, 2275, and then when you get here to 275 and 1950, that's an important number that where Mumbai, India is at, you'll find a place that's at 2162, which is the number between here and here. This little square box, that in between point is 2162. In between places are just important as the boxes themselves. They're connection trade points too, as well as that, and that. But when you go over here, you go one to the Dwarka from Sumer and all of that. You'll notice that it goes to Sumer. And what is that, the Sumer? You go all the way up and you hit a place that's today called Kuwait City. Originally, it was like the Mississippi Delta. There used to be an ancient city there, but the delta ate it away from the erosion of the water coming out and from there into the ocean. So it pretty much destroyed any ancient seaport that used to be there. Today, it's called Kuwait City anyway. Basically, it's the mouth of the Tigris and the Euphrates River. So you say, so what's important about the Tigris and the Euphrates River? Well, I'm going to show you what's important about the Tigris Euphrates River. Because now that we found Atlantis.
Isn't that the supposed birthplace of Western civilization? Like
that's the lie.
The Crescent Fertile Valley.
That's the
something
lie.
Like that.
See, there's Kuwait City.
Okay.
Remember I was showing it earlier?
Yes.
And I was talking about it, and it's at 29 over here.
Yes. 29
seems an interesting place because every 29 there seems to be a mouth of a river. Like 29 for us on our side of the world where we're at. 29 over here would be right here at the mouth of the Colorado River called the Punta Baja at 2956, which is the mouth of the Colorado River. 29.25 is also the number for from Memphis, Egypt, the mouth of the Nile. But what I'm showing here is from the Kuwait City, which is the mouth of the Euphrates and the Tigris River, which is at 29. And as you go up to 31 latitude, 32 latitude, 33 latitude, 34, 35 latitude, 36, all these latitudes in red, all longitudes in blue.
And they're just increasing by one, basically.
Go all up to 48, and then when you get up to 48, you go to 49, because remember, it's a straight line, but my paper ran out. 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, then you hit 5473, Omsk, which is getting closer to Russia and the Siberia area. 55, 56, 57, 58, you hit the Obskaya Bay, or the Nizhny Novorossiysk. I can't even say that
Russian.
word. It is. It's very Russian. The reason why I'm showing you this, because if you notice, this goes to 58 over here, and then if you go over here where Altai, China is at, we're 48 over here, and it goes to 56 over here. Wait a minute. No, Altai over here, because I'm getting a little lost. Yeah, Altai over here. And when you go from Altai and you go to 48 to that area, and you go up to this 48 and 49, I'm going to show you something that's unusual because If I can find it. This is my Kamana wall.
The Kaimana wall?
Mhm.
And what,
Oh, here it is.
okay.
See, here's that Bolshevik I was telling you about earlier. Here's that 5878. And this comes in from Yonaguni Island up to here. And this is 5881. What I'm showing you right here from the Ob River all the way down here to 5881, and this area would be considered in ancient times Hyperborea. The Greeks talked about it. They talked about having to go into the Great Northland where it was freezing cold all the time. And the reason I figured out that it was Hyperborea, because the locations I just show you, they all go to this one specific location. Even the one I showed you that came from the Tigris Euphrates goes to the same Hyperborea area. So now I showed you Atlantis, and now we're showing you Hyperborea, which is up in Siberia by the Ural Mountains. So now we got two ancient empires. Now what I'm going to do is connect the dots, which is real weird, because to connect the dots, I gotta bring this back. And I can take this one off. Let me put this over here temporarily. Okay. One thing about live, it really is live. Okay, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. My kind of on a wall. Okay, here we go. This one, I'm gonna have to get Colleen to go over here so you can get it from that angle. Start over here on the bottom corner. 37, 175. Oh no, 39, 175. I'm looking at it sideways. And there's a polygonal wall here. And what is here? The Keamina Wall in New Zealand. They're still debating if it's man-made or natural, but it don't matter to me what they think. Colonials are the way they are anyway. But from this Kamana wall, if you notice, from that point right here, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, back to those latitudes, 176, 177, 178, 179 longitudes. You keep going up this alignment, all the way up to this alignment from the Kamina wall. You follow the alignment out here, and you keep following the alignment from the Kamina wall. And then when you get to a certain point on the Kamina wall, oh, wait a minute. How did that wrong? Okay, I have to backtrack a tad bit. What is the Kamina wall was connected to the Hyperborea, which I just showed. But Kamana wall was a directional polygonal directional trade marker. The real capital for the area that was down in that neck of the woods was Nan Madol at 6.50 latitude. Nan Madol was the trade center that controlled the Kayamana Wall to New Zealand, to Australia, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and places like that. And the thing about the Nan Madol wall, the Nan Madol, let's see if I can show it.
And Nan Madol's kind of in the middle of the ocean. You can see it from Google Earth, and there's like a big, giant type of arrow from structures that are visible under the ocean, but you can see it.
Okay, now back to that side, Colleen, so we get it.
That's what I remember about Nan Madol, and it's the starting point for this whole global mapping. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's like the 0 point.
Because what I'm going to show you right now is a 6.50 for Nan Madol over here. There's Nan Madol here, and that's over here where this 6.50 is connected to that 6.50 to there.
Okay, so
To
you're
that
talking about right here.
6.50, and that tells you where Nan Madol is located. If you go to Namadal, it has an arrow that's pointing downward from one of its runes there. It's pointing to this center location for their 0 point for their trade network. And what is this trade network? It's Hawaii, it's the Guadalupe Islands, it's the Galapagos Islands, Tahiti, Aitu, Easter Island, Samoa, Tonga, besides Namadal, Guam, and even the Yanaguni ruins, which are underwater over here.
That's in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's near Taiwan.
Holy cow. So this you have laid out the latitude and longitudes for those things, and you can see how they're basically just like in a straight line, like you said.
Well, look at this. This is Los Angeles, Working Man Hill, downtown Los Angeles. You go all the way out here to the Catalina Islands. And what do you do at the Catalina Islands? You go to the San Nicole Island, which is the last island in the chain of the Catalina Islands, 60 miles plus away from the coast. And we go from that point on, you follow the alignment. Where does it take you to? To the Guadalupe Island, if you go to the next longitude line. Why did we go to the Guadalupe Island? Because then it would go take us straight to the Galapagos Island. And why did we want to line up to the Galapagos Island? Guadalupe, Galapagos Island. How we got to Palpa, Peru from downtown Los Angeles. You know what this is a map of is, Colleen?
Right. What is a map of?
It's what modern man calls Lemuria. I call it Polynesia.
Oh no, Lemuria is made up of brown people.
Yeah, all those Mooians. Moo, give it a moo. But this is what they would modern man calls the Lemurians. It's really the Polynesian trade map for the entire Pacific Ocean and how they navigated it by using the numbers that I provided from the other one. So now we did Atlantis, then we went down the Kaimana Wall, and then we went up to Hyperborea. From Hyperborea, it takes you back down to the Kaimana Wall, which is connected to Namadal, and Namadal is connected to a place that's called Lemuria, and which is supposed to be mythological, theoretically. And here's Namadal right here at 158 on the map here. And why is Namadal important? If you follow the Namadal alignment, it takes you right here to Point Delgado, California at Cape Mendocino, which connects us to Lemuria. So now we got this sorted out, that Namadal was the capital of Lemuria or Polynesia. Now it'll make more sense what this is over here now.
Well, even the structures and like how old things are and structures under the ocean water, it's very interesting out there.
That's true. But now here we go again. If you'll notice that I have all of these lined out. This one's going to Dwarka to Mohenjo-daro, and this one's going to Amskik up to that place for Hyperborea. Here's the Kuwait City that's connected to here. And over here is the longer version of the Mohenjo-daro all the way up here to 48 and 49, 50 and all of that, which is really interesting because it takes you all the way up to Altai, China. And the people in Altai are starting to make a connection that native people came from there.
Oh, there's a video on that.
That's what I mean.
Didn't you share that on the Re-Indigenizing Minds playlist or something?
Yeah, it's on the playlist where the Altai people themselves finally made the connection that native people came from Altai area.
They had interesting clothing that was similar to the Tohono O'odham.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Okay, and now here we go. Now we got Lemuria out of the way, and there's Namadal. And now I'm gonna have to put this over here, excuse me. Because I have to flip it over so you can don't have to. I'm trying to make it so Colleen don't have to tap dance all over the place.
Okay. Well,
All my little crazy chords
I'm
are.
trying to multitask.
There you go.
Too. Okay.
Let's do that. Cover right here, honey.
All right. What's this next section that you're going to tell us about now, Raj?
There's the Kayamana Wall in New Zealand.
Okay.
The polygonal wall that they're thinking is if it's man-made or natural. I already know that it's man-made because it was made for this purpose. But the main reason why I'm talking about the Kayamana Wall, because that one direction, it took you to Hyperborea, right?
Yep.
Now watch this. Kayamana Wall, New Zealand. Don't forget that. New Zealand, right?
Yes.
Next to Australia. 39, 38, 37, 36 to 31, 30, to 16. Over here, 15 in alignment to 6 degrees latitude, 140 longitude. 7 and all the way up to 8, 15, 18, 19, 20, 22, 27, 119 longitude. And look where it hits at 28, 118. The Guadalupe Island. Like I just showed you on the Polynesian Lemuria layout,
Yep.
trade chart, it goes to the same islands, the Guadalupe Island. And Guadalupe Island is right off the coast of Baja. And if you go up to 3116, you go to Cabo San Quintin, Baja. And if you go up to 3115, it's the Picacho del Diablo. There's a mountain that was used to alignment. Then you go to 31114, the Matagni Island in Baja, which is back to that again, it's at the mouth of the Colorado River. You go to 33114, it takes you to the Blythe Intaglios, which is that big giant figure that's by the Colorado River that shows a big giant geoglyph man, and I think there's even a sheep or something even there. But you go to 32112, you go to Tuzigoot. And then when you go from Tuzigoot, you go up here to 35111. What's that, 35111? Wapatki, right by Flagstaff, Arizona. Then you go 36.
Is that the Hopi?
30.
Wapatki.
Wapatki. It's the only place that has a ball court. That's right outside the Flagstaff.
Oh,
The Hohokam are running that place.
Okay.
Oh, that's the Hohokam Empire. It's never been to Anasazi Empire.
Okay, by the way, I have the live stream on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I told people that if they want to ask questions, they can put it in the chat, and I'll let you know if there's questions.
We're at 37109. The reason I'm pointing that out, because there's trade points that go off here. It's important to know because from 37109, which is right here again, you go to 38108, 39107, and right here at 39107 is the Mount Baldy in Colorado near the 40 degrees longitude, 106 degrees longitude. And if you go straight on down there, it takes you to the Sandias, which is at 35 degrees latitude and 106 degrees longitude. The same longitude as Mount Baldy, 106 over here. Why am I showing that? Because where I left off here, if you go 1, 2, 3, it takes you to 40,109. And if you go left to 40,109, it takes you to 40,111. And what is that 40,111? Aztlan. Kayamana Wall, or Lemuria, or what they call Polynesia, is connected now. I showed you how it goes from Lemuria, and now I'm connecting it to Aztlan. And what is Aztlan? This is Aztlan right here. It's centrally located as a trade point that has the same numbers going that way, as the same trade numbers going that way, as the same trade numbers going that way, to that other over there, to this one, to that arrow over here, to that way. So it's centrally located. Basically, it's the 0 point for the entire trade network for North America. You go up to the Sage Peak, you hit the Two Ocean Pass, You can send things to the Columbia River, to the Pacific, or down to the east, to the Missouri River, to the Mississippi, and down to Ohio, and up to the Atlantic, from to Ocean Pass. From Aztlan, you could take things down to the Gulf of Mexico, through the Gulf of California, and then you go this way to the Gulf of Mexico, which is down this way toward Texas, and there's the Rio Grande. Everything's centrally located to what people call Aztlan, which is the North King Peak in Utah, located at 40 degrees latitude, 110 degrees longitude.
Dang, and you located, what are all these places that you have written down? There's so many of them.
It's all the connections that are connected to Aztlan. Not only are they connected to Aztlan, but it's how everything was traded from the Pacific Northwest coast directly to the Southwest. How we came down here to the Southwest for gold, silver, and turquoise and took it to the world.
Dang, there's Lovelock Cave right there. Pyramid Lake.
See, using yardstick to plot Chinook trade locations. Wow, you put Aztlan there and you just divide the see
So
what I've
everything
done?
is like really kind of in a diamond pattern. That's really kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah. And you just gotta make the squares and halves. Like where we're at. Where's Sandia? Oh, right here. Sandia? I'll give you an example with that red line. See? All the locations are tied to it. All the way from the Seri to the Trincheras to Babukiwi, the Chiricahuas, the Gila Cliff Dwellings, the Ditters Site, Pottery Mound, to Sandia, to Wheeler Peak, and all the way up to International Falls in Minnesota. But this is Aztlan.
Jesus, did you like memorize all the darn cities? You're like those people that memorize zip codes.
I guess so.
That's crazy that you know so many places and you've been studying. I think you had said you used to walk around the Institute of American Indian Arts with like a art history, indigenous, like,
Well, I've been walking around with a beer can and a bong, and I was the only guy walking around with ancient art books. I mean, I was one of the guilty people too. Don't get me wrong, but I had my priorities right at least. You know, I'm trying to. Nobody's going to teach us a culture. We got to learn how to do it on our own. And if we don't do it on our own, it's our own fault if it gets lost. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, back to what I was saying about what we hit here. And what I was going to show a little earlier was that the Unitah Basin and Aztlan and how it's connected here from that 4106. And this is the trade point for Aztlan, was their trade point was the Sandia Meridian at 35 degrees latitude, 106 degrees longitude. And this is where the Sandia Mountain's at, and that explains what the Petroglyph National Monument is about. It's the layout for all the trade locations globally for everything going out from that location all the way around the world.
they have tens of thousands of petroglyphs.
Yeah.
Supposedly they counted them, you know, but I don't know. They probably didn't get all of
I
them.
don't think they did. There's probably some that are even under earlier petroglyphs that are older. But why am I showing you 35 degrees latitude? And why am I showing you 106 degrees longitude? Because I'm going to show you one last chart, and the Little Red Schoolhouse is done for the day. Because remember that 35 degrees latitude for Sandia that I'm showing you over here for 35 degrees latitude? If you go to the Sandia Mountains and you look directly east and you go straight down the 35th degrees latitude, all the way to the end of America, all the way into the Atlantic Ocean, all the way to the other side, where does it take you to? It takes you to Tangier, Morocco. 35.75 degrees latitude, back to Atlantis. So I showed you Atlantis, how it's connected to the Tigris Euphrates, to Sumer, how Sumer is connected to Hyperborea and Siberia. Hyperborea is connected to the Kayamana Wall, which is connected to Namadol, which is Lemuria or the Polynesia, and then how that Camino Wall is connected all the way up to the North American continent here, which goes all up to 40 degrees, where it's where Aztlan is located. And then we go directly down from Aztlan, it takes you to 35 degrees latitude, which is the Sandia Mountains here and the petroglyphs here. And from that 30 degrees, it takes you all the way back to Tangier, Morocco.
So basically circumnavigating the globe.
And they have one other thing in common. And I want the scientists to really pay attention to this. If they want to be doubting Thomases and think the Indian doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, what does Sumer-Hyperborea, Lemuria, Aztlan have all in common?
I don't know.
They're all Denisovans.
Ah.
Class over.
Right? Dene! Oh, here's a Dene!
Mystery
Two
solved.
Dene, two Athabascan Dene right here.
Hit that hit. Behave.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and let me see if there's any questions.
Well, I wasn't really hitting her.
I didn't see any questions. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I guess I'll just go ahead and end this.
There was no abuse. That was just my hand.